Welcome to Strange Travels. I'm Lauren, that's Clint, and this is our dog, Lilly. We live in Nashville, Tennessee, and share our travels all over the world and close to home, seeking out unique experiences from unforgettable hikes across the globe to visiting historical and ancient locations, enjoying attractions at theme parks and fairs. But our favorite way to explore a new place is by experiencing the food, trying traditional recipes, discovering the origins of historical dishes, and visiting establishments that have stood the test of time. Now, get ready because in this video, we take a day trip from London for a royal visit to Windsor and end the day with a one-of-a-kind experience by entering the inner circle of Stonehenge. And if that wasn't enough, there will also be pie. Here we go! Today we're headed on a day trip to Windsor and also special access to Stonehenge.
Specifically, we booked the Stonehenge Inner Circle Access and Windsor day trip from London through Evan Evans Tours.
When it comes to booking this tour, the first decision you need to make is either doing the early tour or the late tour. The early tour visits Stonehenge first thing for sunrise and then goes to Windsor. This tour departs at 5:30 a.m. and returns at 4:15 p.m. We opted for the late tour, which depending on the time of year either leaves at 9:15 or 11:15 a.m., returning between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. The late tour starts at Windsor and then heads to Stonehenge for sunset. Our tour was in late May and left at 11:15 a.m.
Which meant we had time to grab a huge breakfast at Regency Cafe before the tour. It is located close to the Evan Evans office and...
Buddy, it was awesome.
You can see more of our visit to the Regency Cafe in our London food tour video.
Evan Evans recommends arriving 30 minutes prior to the tour, and that is great advice.
What he's famous for is punctuality.
The tour will leave on time with or without you, and we had a couple groups miss the bus and by their own means had to catch up and meet up with us in Windsor.
The next decision you need to make is if you will do the walking tour of Windsor that is included with the tour or add on a visit to Windsor Castle.
We elected to visit Windsor Castle, and our guide did tell us some stories about Windsor as we walked to the entrance of the castle, such as showing us the columns you see here not actually supporting the floor above it, and pointing out how citizens avoided paying window tax by bricking up their windows. We were informed we were fortunate enough to visit the castle on a day where the royal standard flag was being flown. This flag is raised for special occasions and when the king is in residence at the castle.
And welcome to the premiere episode of Sheldon Cooper Presents Fun with Flags.
We couldn't take any photos or videos inside the castle, but we could take all we want outside on the grounds.
After visiting the castle, we toured St. George's Chapel. Construction on the present chapel began in 1475. The chapel is where Queen Elizabeth II is buried and has been the location for many royal weddings, including the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Speaking of, after exploring this historic and royal place, we of course had to find some food, so we ate at the Duchess of Cambridge, literally located across the street from Windsor Castle.
Before we leave Windsor, we stopped at the Duchess of Cambridge pub. We are here to get their pie flight. You get a chicken and ham hock pie, steak and ale pie, and a cheddar, leek, and potato pie. And look at how cute these little pies are. I don't know which one is which. We're just gonna cut into them and find out. That looks like the potato and leek, I think.
We're gonna find out.
Okay. This is definitely
The steak.
I was gonna say the ham.
Oh.
I think this is the ham. I think this is the chicken and ham hock. That's really good. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the steak and ale. And we've got the steak and ale pie. And as you can see, Paul Hollywood would be proud. There are no soggy bottoms here.
Yeah, that steak and ale pie, it's warm and it makes me feel like this would be perfect in the winter time. It's really good.
And now it's confirmed. This is the cheddar potato and leek pie. Here we go. They're all good. The steak and ale pie, probably my favorite. Close second is the chicken and ham hock. And then not far behind is the cheddar potato and leek, but steak and ale and chicken and ham hock are the clear leaders. Either one of those, I would take a whole pie up. That said, this is a great opportunity to get to try several different pies, to figure out which one you like best, so that when you go to order your own whole pie, you'll know what to choose.
After lunch, we met back at the bus for about an hour-and-a-half drive to Stonehenge.
Upon arrival, we had time to use the restroom if needed, stop by the gift shop, or visit the cafe to grab a snack or just a place to sit. We also explored the museum to learn about the history of Stonehenge, facts about the stones, and what we know about the people that used to live here and how they lived.
Located on the Salisbury Plain in England, Stonehenge is the most architecturally sophisticated and only surviving lintelled stone circle in the world. The earliest known major event was the construction of a circular ditch built around 3000 BC.
Construction of the site likely started with early Mesolithic hunter-gatherers and continued by Neolithic agrarians, with the stones being set up in the center of the monument around 2500 BC. Two types of stones are used at Stonehenge, the larger saracens and the smaller blue stones. The stones were brought from long distances. The smaller blue stones, weighing an average of 2 to 5 tons, were transported to the site from the Persili Hills over 150 miles away, and the larger saracens from Westwoods, 15 miles north of Stonehenge at the edge of the Marble Downs. These saracens could weigh up to 30 tons.
The stones were dressed using sophisticated techniques and erected using precisely interlocking joints unseen at any other prehistoric monument. That answers the who, what, when, and where, but as for the why and how,
that's a little bit of a mystery puzzle.
we know Stonehenge was constructed to align with the sun's movement, specifically the solstices, and it is believed this prehistoric temple was a ceremonial site.
Stonehenge is a masterpiece of engineering built using only simple tools and technologies before the arrival of metals and the invention of the wheel. Building the stone circle would have needed hundreds of people to transport, shape, and erect the stones. Once Stonehenge is closed to the public, our group was bused to the location, divided into 2 groups where each group got 30 minutes to go inside of Stonehenge, an experience you cannot get as a normal guest.
Group B. This is cool, isn't it? Confusing. There's a couple of reasons why people think that is. They think that it may come from the Anglo-Saxon word hinge, which means hang. And a couple of reasons why we think that might be. Firstly, you've got these lovely lintel stones that hang on the top of these other 2 sarsen stones. So these are the different stones. You've got the big sarsen stone and then the much smaller blue stone. But I believe it could well come from that word, hinge, hanging. Say lover. Yeah, not ideal. Now, we should be very grateful that we can actually see the stones. They used to be private property.
Getting to walk the inside circle of Stonehenge is something I'll never forget. Our guide recommended taking off our shoes and walking barefoot, and I'm so glad he did. It's really cool to be somewhere you're generally not supposed to be.
Seeing these historical stones up close, so close you could pretend to touch them, was extremely cool. We'll likely never know all the details behind these rocks and why these ancient people built it, but I'm glad they did all those years ago, and we can come to the same site thousands of years later and see these stones still resting in the same place. Makes you wonder if they had any idea back then that people would travel from all over this planet to see these heavy rocks they constructed.
After getting our 30 minutes around the perimeter and 30 minutes inside Stonehenge, it was time to head back to the bus for our 2-hour ride back to London. Because our next video will be another day trip from London that promises to be a magical one.
Tell me, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?